Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our next edition of the viewer question and answer series, where someone from every state across the country is asking me 3 questions. Today, we have Brett in West Virginia. You do not have a very strong West Virginian accent from what I have known of West Virginian accents.
Uh, well, me and my sister are both first generation born in West Virginia, but my family's actually from Pittsburgh.
Okay, so you've got kind of this middle ground of
Yeah.
Pittsburgh versus West Virginia now. Very cool. Well, what is your first question for me?
Um, well, this is actually something that I've seen. There's a cemetery in Pennsylvania that I have relatives that want to be buried at because we have lots of relatives buried out there,
Okay,
but it's abandoned.
okay.
And it's like in the middle of town, but there's no one that takes care of it. What happens if someone wants to be buried there? And
Did it used to be the township or belong to a church or?
we're not sure. It's there's actually 3 cemeteries all in like one field, but
Okay,
but the first 2 are owned by different people. And then the
okay.
older section is the abandoned one.
What is the name of the cemetery?
Fairchance Cemetery.
Fairchance Cemetery, and where is it at?
Fairchance, PA. Actually, if you Google Maple Grove Cemetery, you'll see it on Find a Grave. You'll see a picture of the cemetery, then the veterans section, and the other section. And those are the 3 different cemeteries.
So Fairchance Cemetery and Maple Grove Cemetery are side by side with no defining fence or markers, correct?
Yes.
And then what is the third cemetery?
The veterans section there
Okay.
is owned by the American Legion.
Okay. Have you talked to the funeral home in town?
I've talked to the funeral homes and the city, and no one knows who owns it.
Interesting. I am wondering, since the cemeteries are right next to each other and divided, I am wondering if maybe there was a religious division or um, like not even religious, but like the Germans were one and the Polish were another, or, in the historical essence, if you go way back, I'm wondering if there was maybe some little division. That's why there was 2 of them or something. This will be definitely something, and I like challenges. So as you guys know, I'm going to try and dive in and see what we can find out about all this. And we'll do a follow-up hopefully at the end of this video with what I find, because I would love to, I don't know, let's try and figure this out. Somebody's got to know something, right?
Yeah, that's what surprised me, because I found out the only person that's cutting the grass is like 90 years old.
Oh,
And it's one of those, it's like he shouldn't be the one out there. There should be someone younger, and I live like almost 3 hours away from it, so I can't do it.
it's showing is that, but there's other cemeteries in town.
There's several cemeteries in town. One's a church one. One's
Okay.
owned by Stoneware. It's called Mountain View.
Okay.
There's the Catholic Cemetery in St. Joseph's right down the hill from Maple Grove and Fairchance. But it's just that one older section that we have people that want to be buried there, but we don't know who to contact.
Well, and there may not be any available graves there. That might be one of the things as well, is that it is full, because if there's no records for it, you can't figure out if there is even open graves there to even know where somebody would go in it. Is there headstones and stuff?
Yes. There's
More recent ones?
there was one placed out on our family plot where my great grandmother's buried around 2000, when I was like a little kid, didn't really know this stuff.
Okay.
And that's the newest one I know about there. The only other new one I know of is I got a Civil War marker for an ancestor of mine.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and when I contacted, because I always said Maple Grove, and the guy at Maple Grove said, he goes, yeah, I can't really do this because I don't own this cemetery. It's Fairchance Cemetery. I only own Maple Grove.
It's so crazy that that would be the case. So, all right, we'll dive into this and we'll figure this out. So we'll go on to your next question, but I am all sorts of intrigued about this.
Sorry about that.
What is your next question?
Um, so if you this has if you have burial plots, is it better to go through a funeral home that has a cemetery with it, or like two different places?
It's kind of six one half dozen of the other. The beauty of having a cemetery funeral home combined is sometimes they may be a corporation or they are going to have a bigger overhead that hopefully protects the cemetery, where a township cemetery or a privately owned cemetery, as you see, may not have anybody governing or running over it, where some of these larger businesses are going to be run and overseen by the government that may make them hold certain insurance policies or things that protect them. So I don't know that there's a benefit. You may see lower costs if you're in a small little cemetery out in the country. They may not charge as much, and they may not have rules like the other cemeteries might operate more like a memorial park where headstones all have to be flat, or you can only have one flower piece or something like that. And there's pros and cons. I think both sides. It's really weird. Do you want to be in where are you comfortable with?
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, oh, how long were you in school for your job?
Well, I did a bachelor's degree before mortuary school, which you don't have to do. I kind of was finding my way still. So I got a bachelor's degree in psychology. Then I went to mortuary school, which is almost about a year and a half from what schooling I did. However, if you do just your prereqs and mortuary school, you can do it in about 3 years. Then
Oh,
apprenticeship and then state licensing and national boards. So you could do it in about 3 years, but I was still finding myself in my younger, right out of high school, and couldn't decide what I wanted to do for a hot minute, even though my mom knew what I should be doing. But she let me find my own way and landed where I should be. So,
that's good.
yeah. Do you have any bonus questions?
Uh, just one. Um, this kind of goes back to the cemetery question. Not the. I won burial plots in a burial vault in a raffle.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, yeah. It was a weird prize, and it wasn't not what I was expecting.
Okay.
Is it beneficial to go ahead and buy an opening and closing, or not?
Do you know that that's where you want to be?
Uh, my wife. That's where my wife's family is being buried.
Okay. Are they going to lock in that price then for you if you pre-purchase it?
I was told they would.
Okay, so it depends too, because some states don't allow that. You cannot actually lock in. It depends on what the laws are regarding cemeteries and such. If they will lock it in, I would lock it in because those can go up exponentially over time. So I don't know. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I don't, that's the craziest raffle to me, to have won. But that you entered that raffle, were there other prizes or just that prize?
It was actually they were raffling off. Those fake graveyards you see at Halloween,
Yeah.
and I bought the ticket from one of my students for I don't know one of their organizations, and I didn't think anything of it. And then when I found out I'd won, and I was told it was one of those fake graveyards, I wanted to go get it, and the person said, "We need to call these people to make sure this is what they meant to auction off," and it was. So yeah, I won. That was fun trying to explain to my fiance that one.
Yay, honey. It's yay.
Yeah, it was a weird price.
Oh, you didn't have to register for it for the wedding, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, true.
It's so random. No, it's not bad to have your stuff in order. I always say, pre-planning's good if that's where you want to be. That's even though it sounds like you want to sneak back to back to Pittsburgh and be in a cemetery there. Um, I like it. I think it's good though to have stuff in order and to know. And even if it's prepaid, you could maybe use it for somebody else if you needed to, worst case scenario. Or if you don't want to be in that cemetery, you can always donate them to,
A
some
raffle.
Raffle. You could donate them to a veterans group that wants to give them to some people. I don't know, there's different options if you don't want to be buried there. So it's a good question though.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm gonna look into this Fair Chance Cemetery and find out that that's so weird.
Yeah. Because
That's
that's one I've been looking at for years. I'm like, who owns this?
that is crazy. There has to be somebody. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
I don't know can't be an answer. I don't accept it. So cool. I'll look into it and we will give you guys an update when we find out what is going on at Fair Chance Cemetery. But thanks for joining us. Thank you to Brett, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Hey, so here is the update for Brett from West Virginia on that Fair Chance Cemetery that he wants to be buried in. So I connected with John Fabry from the Goldsboro Fabry Funeral Home up in the area, and him and Brett have connected, and Brett is going to hopefully provide the information that John needs so that John can connect him to be able to be buried at the cemetery. The sexton, the person who digs the grave, is also the one who digs the grave next to him, at the cemetery next to them. So through hopefully some different chains, they can find the answers they need so that Brett can one day possibly be buried at the cemetery he's always kind of dreamed about being buried at. So don't hesitate bringing questions to me, everyone. We'll try to find answers. I like missions, so send them my way. Bye.